Hello, my name is Fox and you're watching Den of Fools. Let's jump right in. The Texas Open took place in Dallas, USA from the 12th to the 13th of August 2023. The tournament had 6 rounds with 110 players and 638 games played. Justin Moore won the tournament with their Gene Stealer Colts. Kit Smith-Hanna and their Thousand Sons came second, with Johnny Vasquez also running Thousand Sons in third. Big congratulations to all these players, and big apologies for any poor pronunciations of their names. The winning Gene Stealer Colts list looks very similar to the list which got first in our last tournament spotlight. We see the obligatory 3 Primus, with one taking the Prowling Adjutant enhancement. Once per turn, the unit they lead can make a d6-inch normal move when an enemy unit ends movement within 9 inches of them. We see 2 of the popular Nexos, one with the Inscrutable Cunning enhancement. It gives the unit they lead Infiltrators and the chance to regenerate a CP on a 4+ when you use a stratagem on the unit. This combos very well with the Nexos' free stratagem per turn. We see 3 Clamavus, one takes the Meticulous Planner enhancement to allow them to make one enemy stratagem cost an additional CP. The Clamavus itself has a 12-inch deep strike denial. They also make enemy units test Battle Shock at -1 and take a mortal wound if they fail. Finally, we see a popular Reductive Saboteur who is the Warlord. These characters will be leading the Horde battle line units. We see 2 squads of Acolyte hybrids with the popular Demolition charges. We then have no less than 6 big squads of Neophyte hybrids with grenade launchers and seismic cannons. Finally, we have 2 Achilles Ridge Runners with the Mortar. They can give the next Gene Stealer Cults units to an attack an enemy they've hit an extra AP -1 for the rest of the turn. One takes the Survey Auger to give Ignores cover, and the other takes the Spotter to give the Ridge Runner a ballistic skill of 3+. The second place Thousand Sons list takes a plethora of sorcerers. We see the Demon Primarch of Tzeentch, Magnus the Red, who is of course the Warlord. He is a destructive force on the battlefield, as well as being a force multiplier. He gives all psychic attacks within 6 inches +1 to hit, and wound, which includes his own. He also has 3 buffs, which you can choose one of at the start of the battle round. He can give one enemy unit within 24 inches hazardous on their ranged weapons. He can give all Thousand Sons unit within 6 inches +2 inches to their movement, or he can give himself -1 damage against non-psychic attacks. For me, the -1 damage buff seems the go-to option. It partners quite well with his toughness 11, 2+ save, 16 wounds and 4+ infil, making him pretty hard to take down. His psychic attacks can dish out some serious damage, hitting on 2s at 24 inches. The Gaze of Magnus is 3 D3 attacks at strength 9, AP -2 and flat 3 damage. It also has devastating wounds for the mortals on 6s to wound. He also attacks with Tzeentch's Firestorm, making D6 +3 blast attacks at strength 5, AP -1 and 2 damage. The +1 to wound he gets really helps him punch up against armor with his relatively low strength psychic attacks. The +1 to hit is useful if your enemy ever has a -1 to hit, such as stealth. For good measure, he is also a monster in melee, making 7 attacks at strength 16, AP -3 and damage 3 with devastating wounds, or 14 attacks at strength 8, AP -1 and 1 damage. As these are psychic attacks, he will get +1 to hit and wound in melee as well. It means he will also make full use of the detachment rule, getting either lethal hits, sustained hits 1 or devastating wounds. You can use some nice combos to give the weapons of other units psychic, and then turn off someone's armor save with the Twist of Fate ritual. When you include Magnus's buff and the detachment rule, if the enemy unit doesn't have an invulnerable save, they are going to have a very bad day. Next we see Aramin on a Disc of Tzeentch. He gives a unit he is leading +1 to wound, which is very useful if they are out of range of Magnus. His most powerful ability allows him to use a ritual for 0 Cabal points once per battle. The aforementioned Twist of Fate costs 9 Cabal points, so having the ability to use this for free once per battle is very nice indeed. He has a precision psychic attack, which has a rather small chance of taking out a lightly armoured character, and he hits reasonably hard in melee with 5 attacks at strength 7, AP -1 and damage 3. We see a trio of Infernal Masters, with 2 of them taking an enhancement. They give the unit they are leading sustained hits 1, and can change the result of one of their hit, wound or damage rolls to a 6 once per turn. The Umbralific Crystal allows their unit to essentially go into Deep Strike in your command phase, and come back in the movement phase once per game. This is very useful to have for a reasonably slow army. The Arcane Vortex gives the bearer's psychic weapons +1 strength and damage. We see a Thousand Sons sorcerer with the Lord of Forbidden Lore enhancement. This allows a unit to cast a ritual, even if they have been used by another psyker that turn. Finally, we have 2 Exalted Sorcerers, one on foot and one on a Disc of Tzeentch. Both of them give their unit a 4+ invul to improve on the 5 or 6+ most Thousand Sons units have. The on-foot sorcerer also has a rubric regeneration ability. You roll a d6, on a 1 your unit suffers d3 mortal wounds, but on a 2 to 5 the unit regenerates 1 model. If you roll a 6, you regenerate 2 models instead. The Exalted Sorcerer on Disc of Tzeentch has a similar mechanic, however the effect is different. On a roll of a 1 you take the mortals, but on a 2+ you can halve the movement characteristic of an enemy unit within 18 inches, a very useful ability to have. All these characters will generate a huge Cabal point pool, with 18 generated, not including the additional from the rest of the army. That's enough for 2 Twists of Fate each turn if so desired. Rather fittingly, all these sorcerers have a load of Rubik Marines to lead into battle. We have 5 5-man squads, 4 of them take 3 Flamers and the Soul Reaper cannon, while 1 takes pure Warp Flamers. I would guess the Warp Flamer only unit was led by the Infernal Master with the Crystal, to teleport in close and get those Flamers in range. All of the others will have been leading the other squads. I would estimate the 2 characters on Disc did not lead a unit to make use of the extra movement. We have 2 Chaos Runners for transporting the rubrics, and we see a Mutilith Vortex Beast. They do take some Tzeentch demons in support, with the unit of 3 Flamers and the popular Changeling. As is apt for Tzeentch, we see a fair few changes in the 3rd place Thousand Sons list. They take a lot less characters, only taking 3 in total. We see Araman again, but this time he's on foot. His abilities are the same. He seems almost auto-included for the free Kabbalistic ritual once per game. We have a Sorcerer in Terminator armor as the Warlord, who also takes the Umbralific Crystal like the other list. Finally for characters, there is a Thousand Sons Sorcerer. This list also takes some Rubik Marines. They take 2 10-man squads, 1 with Warp Flamers, and the other with Inferno Bolters and Soul Reaper Cannon. Araman's +1 to wound be rather useful on these Warp Flamer squads. The Thousand Sons Sorcerer has a 2d6 Psychic Witchfire attack, a Strength 5, AP-1, 1 damage and sustained hits free. They will like getting in close with the Warp Flamers, and that huge volume of attacks will all have lethal hits when he's leading the unit. If that wasn't enough, the unit essentially gets the Lone Operative ability, only being targetable within 18 inches. This is very useful while those Warp Flamers are trying to get in range. We see a 10-bird squad of Zangors. They have OC2, and while they are on an objective, at the end of your command phase you roll a d6 for each objective marker controlled by Zangors. And on a 4+, you gain 1 Cabal point, a useful ability to have. We have a 10-man squad of Scarab Occult Terminators, kitted out with the 2 Soul Reaper cannons and 2 Hellfire missile racks. If the unit contains a Psyker, attacks which have more strength than their toughness are -1 to wound. I am sure they will have been led by the Sorcerer in Terminator armor. The Crystal will allow them to teleport, and the Sorcerer gives the unit lethal hits. They can also get reroll 1s to hit on 1 enemy unit within 18 inches in your shooting phase. They can teleport within 12 inches, layer on the buffs, from stratagems and let loose with a whole load of firepower. Some of these buffs include full hit and wound rerolls for a CP for their psychic weapons. This pairs very nicely with the Ensorcelled Infusion, which makes all their weapons psychic. You could also make them all have devastating wounds from the detachment and an extra 9-inch range for 1 more CP if you really need it. Again, any unit which has been targeted by Twist of Fate will be toast if they don't have an invul. At least 1 Vortex Beast seems a must for Thousand Sons lists. They have a versatile range attack with 3 profiles, a 2d6 Flamer equivalent with Strength 6, AP-1, and 1 damage for Hordes. A d6 +3 blast attack with Strength 9, AP-2, and 2 damage for Elite Infantry, and finally a massive anti-tank shot at Strength 18, AP-4, and damage d6 +6 with devastating wounds. It is a shame they are not psychic attacks, but they can handle any threat with such a diverse shooting profile. Even this shooting is perhaps not what makes them auto-include. They can double the range of a ritual used by a psyker within 6 inches, no matter how many are cast. This is incredibly useful to have, and because of it, at least 1 Vortex Beast seems like a must-take. We see a Forge Fiend for more anti-tank, taking 3 of the Ectoplasma cannons. Finally, we see 2 squads of Zangor Enlightened. They are quick with a 12-inch move, and are OC2 which will be useful for objectives. Once per turn, when an enemy unit ends a move within 9 inches, they can make a normal move of up to d6 inches. The Great Bows are also essentially snipers with lethal hits. Their 30-inch range will be pretty useful when holding far-flung objectives. This list also takes some Tzeentch Demons, with 2 squads of Flamers and a Lord of Change. We saw all of the Tzeentch Demons in the 2nd place Chaos Demons list we featured in our last tournament spotlight. It does help when you have your powerful allies to call upon, but I personally think the Thousand Sons have a strong index even without the allies. This is emphasised by these lists being quite different, showing the range of Thousand Sons units which can do well at tournaments. Considering how poorly they were doing at the end of night, I for one am happy to see them do well. The Court of the Crimson King Christmas Battle Force will have to move up my rather long hobby to-do list. Unsurprisingly, the Space Marines are the most played faction with 17.27% of all players taking them. Aldarian Knights are in joint second with 10.91%, Thousand Suns are in third on 8.18%. It takes our resident stats guru and Ultramarine fanboy Fearless Fox many hours to collect all the data. It would be great if you could show your appreciation by liking and sharing the video. It really helps us with the God algorithm of YouTube. We have grouped the win rates by colour, with the key at the bottom of the screen. The tournament winners, the Gene Stealer cults, top the win rates with 63.9%. They are followed by the joint second most popular faction Eldari, who get a win rate of 62.9%. The tournament's second and third place finisher, Thousand Suns, are the last faction in blue, with a win rate of 61.1%. The Necrons and surprisingly Tau top the green group, both getting a win rate of 54.4%. Tyrann is a close behind with a win rate of 53.3%. Chaos Space Marines get a win rate of 52.9%, with the joint second most popular faction Knights on 50.7%. Orcs and Chaos Demons are the last factions in green, both getting a 50% win rate. The most popular faction Space Marines get a win rate of 43.6%. Black Legion and Unknown Player get a win rate of 66.7%, with the Word Bearers players getting a 20% win rate. The Single Imperial Fist, Salamanders and Ultramarines players lead the way for the Loyalists. They all get a win rate of 66.7%. The Space Wolves get a win rate of 44.4%, followed by the Iron Hands, who get 43.8%. The Dark Angels get a win rate of 36.4%, with the Black Templars winning a third of their games. If you enjoyed our content, please subscribe, check out one of the videos on screen, and consider using our affiliate links in the description. Thank you for watching.